The core essence of every religion is to teach people to do good deeds, to contribute positively to life. However, many individuals exploit the faith and beliefs of others for their own gain, leading to many tragic incidents. So, what are the consequences when faith is misplaced? In the Name of God, A Holy Betrayal is a documentary series about real-life cases of cults such as Jesus Morning Star, Baby Garden, or the mass suicides of unexplained causes in Odayang, and the drama surrounding Pastor Lee J. Rock from the Manmin Central Church, which have caused social upheaval for a long time. These were once considered by followers of the Big Four religions in South Korea, carrying the teachings of God. However, evildoers exploit such blind faith to commit unlawful acts including abuse, both physical and psychological, and financial exploitation of believers. Netflix's latest work on religious themes has exposed the tactics used by cult leaders to brainwash their followers. Through this, the series has reflected and integrated the message about the danger when human minds are filled with blind faith, lacking critical thinking. They masquerade as love, righteousness, and justice, but in reality, they exploit, abuse, and even brainwash their victims, making people live in misery while deluding themselves into believing they are in a fairy tale world. In particular, viewers cannot help but be outraged by the female cult leader Kim Ki-soon and the Baby Garden cult. Especially when they find out that Kim Ki-soon is the president of Sonara Record, a famous sales platform specializing in providing Korean K-pop albums. The 5th episode of the Netflix series, titled Baby Garden, On the Road to Paradise, has exposed the crimes of Kim Ki-soon. From start to finish, Kim's actions send shivers down one's spine, uttering horror at the demon, only to realize the steep price one pays for misplaced trust. Kim Ki-soon had an imperfect childhood, being orphaned at a young age. Growing up, she married the son of a pastor, which perhaps led her to realize the power of blind faith. Kim Ki-soon was one of the outstanding disciples of Pastor Lee Kyo-bu, even rising as the right-hand man to assist him in all matters big and small in running the church. However, by 1982, Lee was imprisoned for assaulting some individuals, and Kim seized the opportunity to establish her own empire. She took over the sect from Lee and renamed the church Baby Garden, headquartered in Incheon, South Korea. Blessed with eloquence and powerful rhetoric, Kim quickly gained the trust of many, and in no time, she became even more famous than Lee had been in the few short years prior. Once she had successfully attracted a large following, willing to live and die for her, Kim began planning to build an empire she described with euphemistic language as no less than heaven on earth. She forced her followers to work for her day and night, treating them like slaves, without any external assistance, even in constructing the entire Baby Garden compound. People regarded Kim as a reincarnation of a divine being and accepted serving her as a means to attain eternal and fulfilled lives. Like any other fraudulent religious leader, Kim imposed irrational and dictatorial rules that everyone had to follow, except herself. Among these rules, all individuals were prohibited from engaging in romantic relationships as it was deemed sinful behavior. If a girl was found to have any romantic involvement with a boy, both would suffer the consequences of disobeying the sect leader's command. However, Kim Ki-soon herself selected young, healthy, and handsome men and compelled them to serve her. Yet, victims remained silent, believing that such actions bestowed divine blessings upon them. Therefore, all chose to remain silent, even when they felt terrified of her. Kim Ki-soon treated her followers as literal slaves and called it brainwashing. Outsiders could only marvel in disbelief, unable to comprehend how this woman could turn a wife against her husband or a mother willing to abandon her daughter to follow her cult. Continuously, Kim imposed a series of regulations, requiring all children to address their parents as master and madam, and strangely, no one objected to these absurd rules. Kim's influence was paramount. Regardless of how foolish or unethical her teachings were, no one dared to question the legality or morality of her actions. The adoration for Kim reached unimaginable levels, with people from all over Korea flocking to her in search of heaven on earth. They willingly donated all their possessions and even themselves. Imagine a 5-year-old child writhing in agony amidst accusations from those around that it's possessed by demons. And the only way to rid the child of the evil spirit is to make them bleed. That's the pain young Choi Nakgwi endured, all because he wanted to see his mother but was denied. Kim Ki-soon locked Nakgwi in a pigsty and ordered other followers to force-feed him waste. What's even more heart-wrenching is that Nakgwi's own mother, Sun Yang-ri, and aunt, Sun Bak-ri, were among the perpetrators who mercilessly beat the child for crimes he didn't commit. In Netflix's In the Name of God, A Holy Betrayal, the director used a mannequin to portray Nakgwi, recreating the scene from that year, but it was enough to send chills down viewers' spines or feel the pain as if it were cutting into their own hearts. Kim Ki-soon knew that her son was infatuated with a girl named Kang Mi-jaeong, who had once worked as a maid in their house. She took matters into her own hands, murdering Kang Mi-jaeong and tarnishing the girl's reputation among other followers. The cult leader of Baby Garden considered murder to be business as usual, as she had her own world within that vast compound and knew that whatever happened inside never came under the scrutiny of the authorities. And no matter how blatantly wrong her actions were, she twisted some philosophy to persuade the followers that everything she did was justified. When South Korean law enforcement agencies learned about what was happening inside Baby Garden, 50 investigators came to find Kim Ki-soon. Anticipating this, she fled the compound with the help of advisor Lee Soon-bak. Sometime later, the police found the young man who helped Kim bury the bodies of Choi Nakgwi and the young girl Kang Mi-jaeong. He agreed to testify against the cult leader of Baby Garden. In 1996, the exhumation of the bodies began, but authorities found nothing. All they had were testimonies from some former members of the cult and those still alive. However, by the end of that year, Kim Ki-soon voluntarily surrendered. Kim was not just a hypocrite and a ruthless dictator but also a cunning manipulator. She knew the tide was turning against her, so she decided to surrender. Before the trial, a secret meeting was held at one of the hotels where Kim Ki-soon met Choi Nakgwi's mother, and no one knows how she managed to persuade her not to testify against her in court. She also bribed the excavator operator Yoon Bang-soo and promised him a piece of land. Prosecutors couldn't believe their ears when the excavator operator said he was forced by them to testify against the cult leader Kim Ki-soon. And the mother of the victim, Sun Yang-ri, claimed that her son died of a heart attack. With no bodies and scant evidence, Kim Ki-soon easily escaped murder charges. She only received a 4-year sentence for financial fraud, and there was never any evidence to prove that she was behind the murders at Baby Garden. After being released, Kim Ki-soon returned to her 1,000-year kingdom, and what happened to her afterward remains unknown. All that is known is that the South Korean police could never prove her heinous crimes, despite everyone knowing what happened at Baby Garden. If you're a K-pop fan, you wouldn't find it unfamiliar to hear the name Sonara. It's one of the famous album stores, both online and offline, in South Korea. The album sales from Sonara contribute to the album charts based on data from both Hanteo and Jaein. Therefore, the album sales ranking on Sonara is also of great interest to fans as any other system. Sonara operates both online and offline. In its offline form, Sonara has many stores across different provinces in South Korea, making it convenient for customers to purchase albums and merchandise of their favorite idols. On the internet, Sonara has an official website accessible to music lovers both inside and outside of South Korea. Orders can be delivered to customers' homes, depending on the distance. Sonara is also considered one of the most reputable addresses for quickly updating Korean music albums of all singers and groups in the land of kimchi. There are questions about how Sonara is related to this cult. The answer is yes, and the connection is indeed very close. This is because Kim Ki-soon is the president of Sonara Record. Going back to that time, when Baby Garden was just established, Kim Ki-soon bought land and created a complex where all the followers lived and worked to serve the cult. Her cult continued to grow, earning more profits from exploiting the labor of its members, including children. From there, Kim had the resources to start a large recording company, even establishing the music album distribution company Sonara. After the horrific past of Sonara Records president, Kim Ki-soon, was exposed in the Netflix documentary, music lovers collectively boycotted Sonara Record. There's currently a widespread boycott wave across South Korea and internationally calling for people to stop buying K-pop albums and merchandise from Sonara after the Netflix series revealed the dark truth behind its inception. Upon the release of the documentary series, there was considerable outrage from audiences towards the cult's influencing society in general and the lives of victims in particular. Not only causing physical harm in the short term, but the psychological scars will haunt the unfortunate individuals for the rest of their lives. Furthermore, during the production of the documentary series, the film crew was constantly harassed by members of the mentioned cult. From the first episode, when the crew met Maple Yip, they were followed by a suspicious group of people from the airport to the hotel. Additionally, the director's family received multiple anonymous threatening letters. Even the director's wife wanted a divorce for the safety of the entire family. Moreover, the press conference for the premiere of the work was tightly secured at maximum level, with unprecedented measures taken to ensure the director's safety. Director Cho Sung-hyun affirmed that he would continue with the next season despite being threatened. And that is the entirety of the plot in the Netflix series, Extracurricular, based on a true event in South Korea. From here, we can draw many lessons. Faith is good, but blind faith, not knowing right from wrong, can be extremely dangerous. I believe this can be highly risky. So, what do you think about this? Leave your opinions in the comments below for us to know.